everyone, and welcome back to In the Greenhouse, the relaxing little behind-the-scenes series here with Seri, as we talk about all sorts of the amazing questions and comments you guys leave in our Greenhouse series videos. This is our chance to get to know each other a little bit better, and your chance to ask all sorts of questions. Any of the questions that you want to ask me. We've covered personal topics, we've covered topics about our games, our adventures, the future of our community, topics about what you guys like to do and your excitement and the way that you view the world. So, I just love it. I love the time we get to spend here together. And today, we have some beautiful flowers to show off. For some reason, I know we've discovered the mystic pipe cactus before, but for some reason today, it just blows me away because it's so beautiful. Probably just because I'm in a great mood. There's some wonderful things going on behind the scenes. It brings me so much joy to be able to wake up and work hard every day now to try to provide interesting, entertaining, educational content. I have been over the moon because my wonderful friend Jo, who is one of our amazing community members and has been there, I think that she was actually one of the first. Jossie Smith and Jo were two of the very first people to ever comment on my videos back when I had like 2 subs. And that was like almost 2 years ago now. Can you believe that? And now our community has grown so much. But Jo shared with me a really amazing video of a bowerbird last night, and I was so excited. Bowerbirds are these amazing birds in Australia, and I think that there's quite a few up in the islands, to like all of the islandy range up north of Australia and between like Australia and Asia. Wow, holy moly, look at all these insects we've been getting. But yeah, I'm just gonna sit here with the net for a minute. Wow. But yeah, bowerbirds are these amazing builder birds. They look kind of like a crow, and they love to really deck out their nest. The males will make a little nest out of grass or even a big nest. Oh my goodness, some of them can get huge on the islands. And then they will go around collecting all sorts of different objects that they use as attractants for the females. They go, hey, look at my pile of red petals. Look at my pile of blue bottle caps. They'll collect very specific items like certain fruits, certain leaves, certain flowers, certain seeds, trash even. They'll go and collect human trash. And they'll make really intricate, delicate little delicate's not the right word, intricate piles where they sift through it and make sure there's not a single leaf out of place. There's not a single fruit that's starting to rot. If that fruit starts to rot, he tosses it out and gets a new one. And I love bowerbirds. I think they're just absolutely fascinating, and Jo shared a video of them with me, and it just totally got me pumped and excited because now I really want to work hard to go and be able to make our Zoo Bite series so that we can have, I'm hoping 3 times a week, just a short little video about all of the amazing different animals, the things going on in science. I read all of these awesome articles that, because a lot of people don't have a science literary background where you have to read through science articles and know what's going on, it's very difficult to know what's going on when you see like this headline. And because I've been to university and because I've studied biology and ecology on a university level, I can translate what's in the article and go, wow, this is amazing. But most people can't. So my goal is to be able to translate that and explain why it's wow amazing to all of you guys. And I'm so excited. There's a lot of stuff like that coming out all the time. Or even just mentioning animals you may not know about, or facts you may not know about the animals that you do know. So I'm really hoping we can get the Zoo Bite series going. I'm trying to build basically a TV show set in Zoodesia so that we can like combine Minecraft and real world content, and maybe even a little bit of our Zoo Tycoon 2 content to use as like recording, like pretending that the Zoo Tycoon 2 is our recording in the wild, because I can't exactly go and record the sand shrew in its native deserts in the Middle East. Because I can't get there. Like, we're not at that point, but we can use all the different artistic mediums of the video games we have to try to present that world and the real world facts to you, as well as the abundant resources of online photography. And I would love to just get like snippets from like free publication resources and provide them to you guys. So I'm so excited. I'm just like bouncing off the walls about those ideas. It just makes me thrilled to think I could wake up and teach somebody something new about like the kagu, or something new about how like hummingbirds have air bubbles in their feathers, and that's how they have reflective like iridescent feathers, and details like that. It's so exciting. But okay, I'm gonna climb down a little bit from my overeager biology self and try to answer some of the questions for once. I've been saying for the last few episodes I'll answer questions, and now I'm actually going to. I've pulled up all this information so that I can answer these questions because there's some fun ones. Like, we are jumping straight in with what is my favorite prehistoric bird from Jasper Jennings. And that's a really good question. Again, I am not well versed in prehistoric animal and plant life, but I am getting there. I am so excited to have enrolled in that Dino 101 class. I need to do a lot more reading for it, but just talking with you guys has opened my world up for what the prehistoric animals are and what they were and what they, like, the research coming out for them is. And I'd have to say right now it's probably the terror bird, because holy moly, that bird was huge. It was gigantic. It just like blows my mind that just how big it was, and it really impresses me. It kind of reminds me of a shoebill for some reason, which is a modern bird. But yeah, I definitely have to say the terror bird. But if you guys have favorite prehistoric birds, please let me know what they are, because I only know pretty much the terror bird and the dodo. The dodo is not exactly prehistoric. And actually there's a large, was it the mau? There's a large flightless bird native to New Zealand that I think was the biggest. It was like much larger than an ostrich or an emu, and it died because people over-harvested them, ate them too much, over-harvested them. They went extinct. I think it was the mau. I'm probably saying the name wrong, but they're from New Zealand, and those guys I think are cool too, but they're not exactly prehistoric birds either. So if you guys have prehistoric birds that are your favorite, let me know what they are so I can look them up, learn, discover. That's what we're here for, that communication, that discovery. There's so much infinite adventure out there. When I was younger, I used to get really sad because I thought, oh hey, the world's already been explored. There's nothing new to explore, and I kind of missed the idea. Yes, and there goes our cactus. Good. I had this like novel idea in my head of like, oh, how fun would it be to be able to explore the whole world and discover things, and I can't do that now because, oh no, like most of the world has already been discovered, and so it's kind of boring because I won't be able to go adventure into the unknown. But as I've gotten older, I realize that adventuring into the unknown means learning something new. And it is always possible to learn something new. No matter how settled the land feels, no matter what corners we're in, no matter how many people have recorded a cat, we're always learning something new about a cat. We're always learning something new about common plants and animals that we've known for years because we advance our knowledge. We have new information about genetics, about evolutionary history, about all of these things that pushes our knowledge forward one step at a time. And so I don't have to be sad because there's still so much more out there to discover and find. Oh, I do have to be sad because there's no more room in our greenhouse though, drat. Right, is that a dead leaf? So really, it made me really happy because that means that adventure and that sense of discovery will never stop. As long as you stay curious, as long as you want to learn, then the adventure never stops. So that was very exciting when I realized that when I was younger. Now let's see. Ooh, Lee asked, which of all your pets you've owned is your favorite? And that's a really hard thing to answer because, you know, you love all of your family, and my pets and the animals I've had the privilege to share my life with are my family in a lot of ways. So it's like, which one of your siblings do you like the most? You're like, I can never answer that question. But I can honestly say that the animal that I had the deepest connection with, the kind that makes you slow down and kind of go, was my cat Friday. And I've talked about him quite a bit in previous greenhouse videos. But he was the cat that my mom found. His mom had been hit by a car, and one of his siblings had already died and was laying next to the mom. And Friday was the only one alive. And my mom brought him home, and I bottle fed him the entire summer, and he became mine. He was pretty feral. He didn't really put up with anyone else. He tended to attack legs that didn't belong to me. And he even attacked me now and then, but it was one of those things like the people who own a dog that like chews on them constantly, and they're like, oh, Fido just loves me, and they don't notice the dog's chewing on them. It was kind of like that with me and Friday. But every time, that was when I was a teenager, and man, when I was a teenager, I had it pretty rough emotionally, and Friday was always there for me, like, not like a human, because, you know, I don't want to project too much onto him, but he always seemed to know when I was upset, and he'd show up, and he was something that I could hold, cuddle, pet, cradle in my arms, and really helped calm me down when I was upset. I didn't have a lot of friends in high school. I did have a few very key, wonderful friends, but I didn't have a lot, and I was bullied a lot. And I just went through some really difficult times, and my parents were both getting really sick at the time, and things were getting difficult because my sister was becoming a teenager, so she was getting hit with all the hormones. So it was really hard, you know, and you're trying to go to AP classes and like work full-time, like full part-time, you know, as a high schooler, because you're trying to support the family. It was hard. I did not enjoy being a teenager. I wouldn't do it again for anything, unless I could do it over. Like, I wouldn't relive it the way I lived. I would do it all over if I could, but then I wouldn't be who I am now. So I am grateful that I am who I am now, but it was difficult, and it meant a lot to come home and go down to your room and you're exhausted from school and you just want to curl up and cry, but you have hours of homework to do before work. And Friday, with his giant Maine Coon fluffy face, would just poke his head in my face and be like, hey, pet me. And so it meant so much to be able to wrap him up in my arms and just pet him and cuddle him. And he wouldn't cuddle very much. Like, he always seemed to know when I needed him to let me cuddle him. And then as soon as I was calmed down, even just a little bit, he was like, okay, I'm done. And he would jump out of my arms. But he always stayed close to me. He was one of those cats where he may not want to be like a super affectionate lap cat, but he did want to be near you almost 24/7. If he wasn't out doing his own thing, then he was by my side in the room. If not in my lap or like actually on me, because he didn't really like that, then he was still my companion, kind of like a shadow. And it meant a lot to have that kind of like never really leaving your side friendship, even if it was in feline form. I think that's how a lot of people feel about their dogs, because dogs tend to do that too. They're always by your side. They're under your feet when you're on the computer. They're like laying on the kitchen floor while you're cooking, but they're with you. You know what I mean? And Friday he was always with me. So it was really wonderful. I loved that cat a lot. And I don't know, it's weird to say it, but because of how he was always my constant companion, it's almost like he set an example for me of the kind of dedication that can get you through even the hardest times, just being there. And that's what Friday did for me. So yeah, I can ramble on about him for a long time. Unfortunately, he died of feline leukemia when he was only 5, so he was a very young cat when he passed away. I had to take him to the vet and have him put down because he got so sick that he couldn't. He was horrifically sick. I had been away for university and came back, and the state I found him in was so tragic that I made an appointment that minute. Like, as soon as I walked in the door and saw him, I went straight to the phone and called and said I had to have him put down because he was that sick. And it made me very sad, but he got feline leukemia from his mother, who was a stray. So I'm really big about making sure that, like, that's why I participate. I used to do it. I don't know if there's a group around here who does it, in catching feral cats and taking them to vets who will work with you for low prices and getting the feral cats spayed, neutered, and treated for those transmittable diseases. And then often you just release them again because you can't really, you can't rehabilitate most feral cats. It just doesn't work. And if you can spay and neuter them, you're at least cutting down the numbers. And if you can get them vaccinated, you're cutting down on the spread of disease. So I used to do programs like that in both Missouri and in Austin. And I might look around to see if there's any groups that do that around here. But yeah, that's why I'm really big about making sure they're vaccinated, because it's really a tragic thing to watch an animal get so sick and die from feline leukemia. So definitely big, and it's not always a death sentence. I did work with a special group in Austin who had a lot of feline leukemia positive cats that did well for years, but it definitely takes a tremendous toll on the feline community. So if you have a kitty, make sure they have their vaccines. It's not that expensive. I think you only need to have certain types of them done once or twice for like $20 or $30. And don't forget, it not only saves your cat's life, but it saves that disease from being transmitted to so many other cats, because they transmit it very, very easily through spit, through communication. So if they're going to groom each other, if they're going to get in a fight when they're outside, if they're going to share the same food bowl, if you're going to pet a cat really roughly and then go pet another cat, like, it's not that easily transmitted, but there's always that chance. So definitely take care of your kitties, you guys. They deserve it. All the animals do. And that actually goes in, let's see, with another question, since we're talking about animal activism, a question from Tom. If it were made legal to hunt endangered species, would you protest? And yes, I would. For me, that's kind of a no-brainer. It is legal to hunt species that I would consider to be endangered in quite a few areas. Like cougars, I don't think need to be hunted at the rates that they definitely are. The cougar population, the wolf population, the coyote population, the panther population, a lot of the big carnivore populations are not as stable as a lot of the hunting groups like to think. I can understand that it probably will never go away because I'm realistic, but it's definitely something that I hope the spread of knowledge will help counter. Because the more you know about just like how long it, like for example, a good example is people think that cougar hunting is still pretty cool to do because it's a beautiful cat, and for some reason people find prestige in having killed that cat and then like having its body as a trophy. Some people find that prestigious, and the way that they can justify doing it during breeding season is like, well, this is a female, yes, but she's only so old, like she's only a year or two old, or you know, she didn't have cubs with her. And so the laws will allow you to kill like an adult female in several states, even if she is in breeding season or cub rearing season, because she doesn't have cubs with her. But they're not like bears. They don't keep their cubs with them. Cougars leave their cubs at a den, go get food, bring it back. So what looks like a lone female to you might actually be a female with cubs, and so you're doing a lot of damage to the whole community when you remove them. So yes, protesting that is something that I would do actively, is something I do actively. And mostly the best way to do it is just the spread of knowledge. And that's what we do here. And these guys are not buying my beautiful rare oak rose tree. Alright, I'm gonna get these plants sorted out and sort through some more questions, and we will be back to talk about some more amazing things. And I hope you guys are having a wonderful day, and I'll see you soon. Bye-bye!